He's on his knees on the asphalt, hands cuffed behind his back, screaming, "Get it off me! Please! Get it off me!" There's a metal collar around his neck, a device strapped to his chest, and every officer on scene has backed away, taken cover behind their patrol cars, and is waiting, because nobody knows if that thing is real. He's a pizza delivery man. He walked into a bank 20 minutes ago. He handed a teller a note, and now he's lying face down in a parking lot with what might be a live bomb strapped to his body. The bomb squad is on the way. They won't make it in time. I'm Cole, and this is Midnight Files. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a case. It was 2003. Erie, Pennsylvania. A man named Douglas Wells worked as a pizza delivery driver at a local restaurant. By all accounts, he was a reliable guy, 46 years old, steady worker. The kind of man who showed up and got the job done, without complaint. One afternoon, his shift was winding down. He was getting ready to head home. And then, a delivery order came in. 2 small pizzas headed to an address not too far from a radio station out on one of the roads outside town. Nobody else was available to take it. His managers told him to leave it. Go home. The next crew can handle it. He said no. Come on, just go home. You're done for the day. He wouldn't hear it. No, I'll take it. I'll drop it off and go straight home. That was Douglas Wells, 46 years old. Worked hard his whole life. Couldn't leave a job unfinished. He grabbed those 2 pizzas and drove. The address was strange. The delivery location was near a radio station, one of those small broadcast facilities set back from the road, the kind that usually has a back room for staff and nothing much else around it. When Wells arrived, the place was deserted. Nobody came to the door. Nobody claimed the order. Meanwhile, across town, Douglas Wells walked into a bank. He was still in his delivery uniform. He was still carrying the pizzas, and in his other hand, he was holding what looked like a cane. He walked up to the teller's window, a woman working the register, and he slid her a note. She read it. "I have a bomb. Give me $250,000. Now." She looked up at him. He was holding the cane pointed at her. And it wasn't a cane at all. It was a disguised firearm, built to look like a piece of wood, so he could bring it into the bank without raising suspicion. She was terrified, but she kept her voice steady. Okay, honey, just calm down. I don't even have that much. I only have $8,700. He looked at her. The note said $250,000. She had $8,700. "Give me what you got." She put it in a bag. He took it, and he walked out of the bank, calmly, no running, no yelling, and stepped back outside. Nobody screamed. Nobody hit an alarm while he was still inside. She waited until he was gone, then called the police. Officers arrived in minutes, and they found Douglas Wells, still in the parking lot. He hadn't made it to his car yet. He was right there, standing near the entrance, delivery uniform, empty pizza boxes nearby. And the moment he saw the patrol cars pulling in, he bolted for his vehicle. They ran him down fast, forced him to stop, pulled him out of the car, and put him on the ground, and that's when things got very strange. Wells was screaming, not begging, not trying to lie his way out of it. He was screaming, "Get it off me! Get this thing off me! Please!" The officers looked at him, and they saw it. Around his neck, a metal collar of some kind, and running from it, down his chest, a device, strapped tight to his body. "I have a bomb on me! It's a bomb! Get it off me! Please, I'm begging you!" They stepped back. They backed away from him, put him on the ground, cuffed him, and then kept their distance. got behind the patrol cars, called it in. Because nobody was touching that thing. The bomb squad was dispatched, but they weren't close. Bomb disposal doesn't just roll up in 2 minutes. They gear up, they prepare, they travel. It takes time, and the news was already there. Camera crews, reporters, vans parked along the street. The whole scene broadcast live. Wells was still on the ground, cuffed, screaming, "Please, please, someone get it off me. Please. Allahu yarhamu. Someone take this off me." The officers told him to stay calm. Stay still. Help was coming. He kept screaming. The bomb squad never made it in time. The device detonated, right there in that parking lot, with cameras rolling and officers pinned behind their cruisers. The bomb strapped to Douglas Wells's chest went off. It blew a hole in him, a wound roughly the size of a fist, straight through his chest. He died on the scene. And with him, died every answer he might have given. The investigation shifted immediately. This was no longer a bank robbery. This was a homicide, and the central question, the only question, was, who put that bomb on him? Investigators pulled the device apart. What was left of it anyway? It was homemade, carefully constructed. The cane Wells had used in the bank. It wasn't just a prop. It was a disguised weapon, a real firearm, built to look like a walking stick so it could pass for a crutch. Wells had walked into a bank with it, like it was helping him stand. The pizza, 2 small pies, meant nothing. There was nothing hidden in the boxes. The food was just food. So investigators went back to the restaurant and asked about that delivery order, the one that sent Wells out on his last run. The managers told them exactly what happened, that Wells had been on his way out, that nobody else was available, and that he'd insisted on taking the order himself before heading home. They tracked the phone number that placed that order. It came back to a man named Barnes. They picked up Barnes. Barnes fixed televisions, electronics repair, circuit boards, components, wiring. The kind of person who would understand timers, detonators, the kind of person who could look at a bomb and know how to set it. When investigators pressed him, bonds broke. "I was involved," he said, "but my role, my only role, was setting the timer on the device." He said he didn't build the bomb. That was someone else. A man named Bill. They found Bill. Bill confirmed it. He had built the bomb. Barnes had rigged the timing mechanism, and the whole operation, every piece of it, had been orchestrated by a woman named Marjorie. They brought in Marjorie. She was wealthy, came from money, but she had a record, a history of violence, of run-ins, of chaos. She sat across from investigators and told them she had nothing to do with it. Didn't know Wells, didn't know Barnes, never heard of Bill. They told her that Barnes and Bill had both given her up. She kept denying it. But the full picture, the thing that stopped investigators cold, came out in pieces. Here is what actually happened. Marjorie hated her father. She was a big spender, reckless with money, and her father, an old man sitting on a fortune, kept cutting her off, controlling the money, refusing to let her blow through his wealth. So she decided to have him killed. She found a hitman. She told him she wanted her father dead, and that once he was gone, she'd inherit everything and pay him whatever he wanted. The hitman said he wanted $200,000 up front. She didn't have it liquid. Not immediately. She needed cash, and that's when she came up with the plan. She would use a man, someone who didn't understand what was really happening, to rob a bank for her. She would give him a fake bomb, just enough to terrify the teller into handing over money. He'd collect the cash, split it with her, and everyone walked away. That man was Douglas Wells. She told him she'd place an order for pizza. Time too when his shift ended, so it wouldn't look suspicious when he picked up the order. Barnes would make the call because she needed the voice on the phone to be a man's. That way, nobody would connect her to the delivery. She told Wells the device was a prop, a fake, something to scare the teller, nothing more. She said, "Take the bag, bring us the money, we'll take the bomb off you and we split the cash. You look like a victim, you walk away clean." Wells agreed. But then Marjorie met with Barnes and Bill, without Wells, and she told them to build a real bomb, a live one, because Wells had agreed to the plan thinking it was a fake. Once they strapped a real device to him, the script changed. They put it on him, around his neck and down his chest, and then they told him the truth. "Listen to me. This thing on you, it's real. It's not a prop. It is a live explosive device with a timer. You will go to that bank. You will get the money, and you will bring it straight to us. If you run, if you breathe wrong, if anyone tries to remove it, it goes off. We will not help you. We will not come for you. The only way that thing comes off is if you deliver that money to us personally." Douglas Wells stood there and heard that, and he went to the bank, not because he wanted to, because he had no choice. He walked in, handed that note to the teller, took the $8,700 she had. Not the $250,000 he'd asked for, just whatever she had. Because he wasn't thinking about the money anymore. He was thinking about getting back to Marjorie, getting the bomb off his chest. But the police arrived before he could reach his car. He was screaming because he knew exactly what was on him. He knew it was real. He knew the timer was running, and the bomb squad didn't get there in time. In 2004, a year after the explosion, one of the co-conspirators, Bill, was dying. Lymphoma. He was on his deathbed, and before he went, he gave investigators everything, every detail, how the bomb was built, how the timer was wired, how Wells was deceived, how Marjorie had orchestrated every piece of it. He looked at the investigators and said, "That woman, Marjorie, she is something from hell itself, evil like I have never seen. She will not stop. Whatever you do, don't let her walk." He died shortly after. The trials took years. Barnes was convicted and sentenced to 45 years in a federal penitentiary. Marjorie was sentenced in 2010, or 2001, depending on the charge, to life in prison, plus an additional 30 years on top of that. She will never leave a cell, not in this lifetime. Douglas Wells, 46 years old, pizza delivery driver, man who refused to leave a job unfinished, walked out of work one afternoon to drop off 2 small pizzas and never came home. He didn't know. He thought he was in on it. He thought it was a scam with a fake bomb and a split payout. He had no idea that the moment they strapped that device to his chest, he was already dead. This case became one of the most bizarre and complex criminal investigations in American history. And that's where we close this file tonight.